stage. I'll start with Taiwo and Kehinde Smith. I will let you guys do proper intros, but just in case you don't know the Smith sisters, they are entrepreneurs in every sense of the word, from the restaurant business to beauty and even real estate, exactly. So I'll let them introduce themselves in more detail. And we have Rory, who is a fabulous content developer and the founder of TripZap, and she's all about lifestyle and hospitality consultation. Again, I will let you introduce yourself in more detail. And Adeshola, who is the lead content partnerships for TikTok. So if you know anything about TikTok, it's like the leading thing right now. For me, I'm still trying to get my way around it. I'm having difficulty managing all my social media. So I'm going to let the Smith sisters introduce themselves quickly before we start asking some questions.
Everything came in.
You need to tell them what your business is about.
Oh, I thought we were running out of time.
No.
Okay, so we have, we run a salon. It's called My Extensions. So it's more of hair salon, selling hair, lashes, anything related to beauty, that's what we do. The next one is cafeteria. Many people don't know, but we are behind cafeteria. We just started coming out as the founders of cafeteria this year. Maple, I don't know if anyone has heard of Maple Lagos. We're also behind Maple Lagos as well. We have a new restaurant that we're launching in about 2 months. It's called The Smiths. So a little bit more fine dining. We have another business that we're coming up with next month. It's called Clay, so it's anything that has to do with decor. And some short-let apartments as well. And
Hello? Okay, she said, let me see, because there's more.
there's one more, I'm just trying to for now.
And they're both quite active on social media too, so they're great content developers.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And if you haven't been to their restaurants, you should check them out on Awari. Rory.
Hi, my name is Rory. I am founder and CEO of TripZap, which is a hospitality and consulting company. And we manage several brands that you might know of. Landmark Beach right there, we're the ones responsible for setting that up and becoming the go-to place. There's also Lighthouse Beach House, Island Breeze, the Corner Restaurant, and so yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about TripZap?
So that's the company. So TripZap is. Hello? Okay, we're back. Yeah, so that's interesting. I do that for fun, really. I create content.
Who wouldn't do that for fun? I mean, traveling and visiting.
That's my outlet. But the thing is, it also feeds back to the brands that we do manage or operate in one way or the other. So if, for instance, see me creating stuff at Lighthouse, which ends up drawing all of that traffic to the location. But yes, it's back to the business essentially. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Rory. Adeshola?
Hi everybody. My name is Abisola, and I like to think of myself as a content expert. I'm a storyteller, and that has to do with, finding your identity and being able to describe that. I have worked with some amazing brands and companies such as the Tony Elumelu Foundation, Bella Niger, where I was for 7 years, and now currently at TikTok as also a company. And I'm really excited to be here with this powerful.
Thank you so much. Well, this is about the art of discoverability. So I think we have two different perspectives here. From the business owner perspective, lifestyle business owners, and from the content developer and consultation side of things. For me, the way I look at discoverability is more than just Googling a business and finding out where they are. It's about understanding them as a brand and wanting to make a decision, do I want to know more about this brand or not? And I think what makes you actually ask those questions and what makes you want to know more about the brand. Looking at it from the perspective of business owners, what does it mean to be discoverable to you?
For me, I think I'm a huge fan when it comes to branding, and pretty much Taiwo is the one who takes care of like all the recipes. Any recipe that has to do with any of the restaurants, she's the mother. So she's the one who comes up with all this stuff. As far as branding and marketing, it's pretty much me, and anything related to me or my brand, I would like for people to know that we relate with each other. So if anyone sees me, I would like for them to know that, oh, that's cafeteria, or this is that, as opposed to just Googling, So in regards to, I posted something on Instagram a few days ago where it's pretty much just like brand as many things as you can, whether it's hospitality, fashion, whatever the case may be. I always like to put my brand, my logo, anything affiliated with my brand on it. I mean, okay, obviously you don't want to brand every single thing because at some point it looks tacky, but if it's a cafe, you can brand your coffee mugs. Anything that someone can take photos of that would eventually lead online, because everybody knows anything that goes online ends up going viral, or it ends up transferring to the next world, wherever, with just one click of finger. But in regards to your question, I hope I'm answering. I think it's very, very important to make sure that your brand stands out by making sure that people is aware of it without just Googling with how they see it.
And just to add to that, I think, for example, with cafeteria, I think for any business, I think a slogan is important. So when you think of, Nike, everyone knows it's just do it, or McDonald's, we love to see you smile. With cafeteria, we want people to know that our slogan is home of the best American brunch, So it's important to have a catchy slogan for customers to, if someone asks, for example, do you know any American breakfast spot? Because of our slogan, Best American Brunch, we know that automatically cafeteria will pop up in their head. So I think that's very, very important when it comes to brand as well.
Yeah, I think the way people, once they find you, whether it's on social media, or through Google, through Awari, that is one way that you've got your name out there. And then how do you get people through the door? Because it's one thing to, put yourself out there. How do you convince people to come to your business? Because I think that's the hard part.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to leave this one up to Kehinde. She's the one who does all the posting, and she's always like, you need to post, you need to post, you need to post. And I post maybe like twice a year. I need to do much better than that. But I think she's behind all our market and most of it.
Well, honestly, this one's a bit of a tricky one because you can't really make anyone walk into your door. Like, it has to do with, besides your brand, it also has to do with the quality of what you serve. And I'm going to take this back to cafeteria because we've been running cafeteria for about almost 3 years now. But when we first came out with cafeteria, no one knew that we were even behind it. I never posted anything on my page.
I remember we were begging for customers like, oh, you know,
We never posted anything whatsoever. So we kind of allowed the brand to speak for itself. For several reasons, we didn't post. It had to do with some negative reasons, and then also maybe and positive as well. Many people know that we started off our career in the beauty industry, and we just kind of wanted people to give us a chance to enter in the hospitality industry because it is a very, very tough industry, and we didn't want to look like one of those entrepreneurs that literally says they do everything. So for about 2 years, no one knew anything about us being a part of cafeteria. This one is funny because I think really social media helped out big time. Taking quality content, posting consistently, being consistent with your products, and I think that's a difficult thing to run a restaurant, but it's really, really difficult to import ingredients, things that are simple as pancake syrups. So these are things that we actually find a hard time in. We're just making sure that we're consistent with everything. But you can't really make anyone do anything unless your brand is serving what people want, and if it is consistent. If it's a good quality, no matter who you are, what you do, how many times you post, people will definitely come. And I think this is just a really great example of what we did. We never posted bacteria, and we just allowed social media to do its thing, and word of mouth as well.
That's so true, actually, because I remember when I first met you, I looked on your page and I was like, she has nothing about cafeteria. And she has thousands of followers, but she has not a single post about cafeteria. Then I started wondering, does she actually own cafeteria? Because who does that? Who doesn't post about their business? But actually, sometimes that can backfire. I mean, if you look historically at businesses where famous celebrities open a business and they just put their name on it, and then people go there and they don't have a good experience, it actually doesn't give you that same positive reinforcement that you think it's going to give you. Look at Planet Hollywood. Look, the biggest names in Hollywood put their name on that restaurant, and it completely flopped. So you have to let your business speak for itself, and I think it's great. Looking at it from a content perspective, what does discoverability mean to you? How do you get people through the door? How do you fill up Landmark?
So, really, I think discoverability for me is building a relationship. So building a relationship with. So there are random people. So imagine, first of all, there are two levels to it. There's first trying to get eyeballs, right? So if your brand is not posting, is nowhere online, then there's nothing. There's no eyeballs on it. So there's first getting the eyeballs. So if there is a tool to get 1 million eyeballs, let's do that, right? Because a certain percentage, it will just be a fraction of those eyeballs that you get through the door. But if it was 1% of 1 million people, and then you did 100 million people, 1%, you're getting more people who converted, right? So this first part is getting people, as much of the right people to see your brand, one. And then second part is to convince them of something. And when you say convince, it's not like, oh, come here, blah, 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 but it's like, you need to build a relationship in some way with them and have an emotional connection. So there's a lot in marketing now about emotional connection with people, trying to make them do stuff without, saying, now, and then, which is also why a lot of the ways of marketing is changing recently into more organic, influencer type, whatever it is. There's just some kind of trust you build with them, and then they want to come to you. This is really how we sort of built a Landmark. When we took it on, there was no one going to Landmark. I remember the first time I came here, in fact, I had done an event, and people didn't know where the place was. And then it was my birthday, and I went with a few friends, and we were just 10 of us. It's completely empty, and we had a good time, just jumped in the ocean and things like that. Nobody knew the brand, so when we started working with it, there was a lot of that, but you need to do X, Y, Z, because people just didn't understand the way you should treat her, the new ways of growing social. So, creating experiences within that space creating essentially an experience that people would want to relate with or want to experience or interact with in a way, and communicate that to the people. So, so things we'll have certain kinds of events. We had the no adulting party, we had 4th of July, we had a cookout, we had just so many random things that just brought people into the space, and then they're able to feel a certain type of way and want to come back. So that's the thing. So you first have all these people you want, it just won't work. Also understand.
That's why you see things like hashtags and things like that to aid discoverability. I'm happy that you mentioned likes, because it's also important. That's something that people can't count on. If you like something and somebody that is following you sees it, it's sort of like a seal of approval, right? Like, this person that I'm following likes this product, so let me give it a shot, right? So brands also have to think about the shareability, like the engagement factor. How can I get people to engage with my product so that other people can then discover it? And I think that's how sort of it ties it together. So let's not limit it to like TikTok alone, but also content in general. And whether you're dealing with social media or just general digital media or traditional media, you always have to think at the back of your mind, like, am I using tech in the right way to make my content and my brand discoverable with your website, with your app? I want to say, like, currently, so many people are wearing smartwatches right now. How many brands are already thinking to the future of how can I optimize my website to be able to fit on the screen of a smartphone? Right, that's discoverability, because you have to think of the future as well. Like, I want people to be able to discover me when tech sort of moves into the future and things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a lot of food for thought. When we look at businesses, I think a lot of them focus mostly on operation. Like, how do I get the food on the table, or how do I make sure the lashes are done properly, my staff are paid, or they don't necessarily think as much about branding and marketing, especially in the small businesses, the lifestyle businesses. And in my opinion, if you're not on social media, you don't exist, because that is the first point of discoverability, is to be able to find them. Like, if somebody tells me the name of a business, I'm like, okay, let me find them on Instagram first before I even visit them, and then decide whether I want to go visit them. So, do businesses need to be on every social media platform? And how do they know which platform to pick for their business? And then once they're on that platform, what can they do to make their business more engaging? And I'm not just talking about content, I'm talking about links on their pages. How do they get people to use their hashtags? How do they interact with their customer to acquire them, but also to retain them? I'm going to ask Rory and then Adeswa, and I'd love to hear from the business perspective.
So I feel as though, as far as, I definitely do not think that a business has to be on every social media platform. There's so many of them. I think the question starts with, what is your business? And who's your customer, right? So you start there, is identifying who your target market is, and then seeing where you need to be to reach that target market. Now, if you're in the Gen Z market, or almost going to the Gen Z, they're going to grow up and become whatever in like the next 10 years, right? So maybe you want to capture them from now, so maybe you need to be on TikTok, right? Depending on what your business is. If I'm in the very high-end luxury part of the spectrum where only 50-year-olds can afford my business, perhaps I should not be on TikTok, because maybe they're not there as much, right? Maybe they're even on Facebook. And Facebook is a platform. People just don't think it is a platform, but it is, right? And I know this guy who, he's famous now because he was the only one supplying Facebook video content at the time, and he's now the biggest thing globally. That's daily, if anybody knows about him. So it's really about finding where your niche is, or where your business audience is, or whatever it is, and then plugging into that, and also playing that out for the next few years to kind of see what is that going to be. Now, if also your business is like a lifestyle place where there's a location, there are videos coming out, whatever. You probably want to be on TikTok, you want to be on Instagram, you don't really want to be on Twitter as much, people are chatting there. It just really depends, right? So I think, and because if you spread yourself so thin in terms of every social media, except you have a huge team, you'll be so inundated with, like you would not be able to be consistent on any platform. So if you decide I'm going to do 2 platforms and you can be consistent with it, because the messaging is different for different platforms. I am on TikTok, but I'm more on Instagram than on TikTok. And when I post the same thing on, like I posted something last year, was it last year or the year before, I don't remember. It went viral on Instagram on 2 separate pages. So the Lighthouse page and my personal page went viral, like over 2 million views on each of them. And then on TikTok, till today, it's not up to 1,000 views. And I'm like, okay, So it's different types of content. And then last year, the same video was posted on TikTok, went viral on TikTok, 2-point-something million views. On Instagram, it was like maybe 30-something thousand. So it's just different things. So you have to be in the mindset of those 2 different platforms and understanding what works on those platforms to be able to create content for a specific platform, because they're very different. Like if you go on TikTok, I'm sure like you would know, so like the Wednesday song from the new show, on TikTok it's everywhere. On Instagram, it's like it doesn't exist, it's not as much. So it's just different things. So yes, so as far as that question, I don't think you need to be on every single platform. I think you need to know what platform works for you and what platform you're going to be able to be consistent in creating. And then there's so much about thinking about how, learning about what the platform wants so that you align to feed that. And that way you can work into this magnificent algorithm thing, right? So Instagram, I can say, okay, fine, you need to do X, Y, Z, you need to, your name needs to be defined. So if I normally if I say, oh, I want to buy, I don't know, anything, clothes, shoes in Lagos, let's see. I go on Instagram and I search shoes in Lagos. So you should be able to come up if I search shoes in Lagos, but people don't know how to create their profile so that they come up when I search shoes in Lagos. But people are able to do that. So if I said, American cafe or brunch place in Lagos, I should be able to see that and it comes up first, because Instagram is going to give me the things closest to me first. But if you haven't leveraged all of those settings so that you can be searched for and found, then you're losing out on people. And then secondly, there is also the whole platform works in sharing and saving. That's the entire point of it. So if your content is shareable, that's the only way you go viral. And you think of everybody who sees your content as a potential town crier, for lack of other words. So if they shared it to another person, then they're just giving you a little blast, and they're giving you a little blast like that. So you always have to think, how will my content be shared? Why will someone share it, and why will they save it? Because those are the 2 biggest things: is they share, they save. Likes is like, okay, but yeah.
Yeah, I fought with my team about TikTok. They were insisting we need a TikTok page. I was like, really?
You do.
I mean, okay, fine. So now we're on TikTok. Follow us on TikTok. I need to get TikTok and share to follow me on TikTok. But it's really hard to juggle all these pages. And I think, like you said, it depends on your business. And it's true. That's why all businesses should be on Awari, because if you look for shoes in Lagos, you'll find all businesses that have tagged themselves with shoes in Lagos on Awari. Just a side note. And it's all
So I'm going to take like a slightly different view, not slightly, actually the opposite side. And I do think you should try to be on all platforms. I know it's a bit controversial to say that, but I think it's the best way to be really discovered. I think that different platforms have different audiences. You don't have to stick it out, right? But just go in there, try to set up your account for that, or just have it. Try to see how it is. You never know, there are old people on TikTok There's some pages that
There's
follow.
some great old people
Oh my
content.
God,
No
yes.
offense to old people, by the way.
It's so amazing that even teaches you how to use TikTok.
Yeah, and there's so many amazing things like that. So don't limit yourself. I mean, on LinkedIn, people are finding like the love of their life. So don't limit yourself. Even though it's a professional like platform, there are people who are still finding another use for it, right? As well as Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. I think the important thing is the content that you're putting on those platforms as opposed to the platform themselves. Staying true to your brand in terms of what you're preaching and the message that you want people to get for it. You can't tweak it to fit the style of the platform. But if you're not chasing virality, for instance, right? Like, I'm not going on TikTok just because I want to be viral. Or I'm not going on Instagram Reels just because I want to be viral. Or because you do just want to get your brand out there, that's the first thing. Then you should be able to sort of find a way to balance it. Look for how it can work for you to be on each and every platform, just because when platforms come out, there's a way that audience just gravitates towards it, and so there's an untapped like audience just waiting for you on that platform that you've not downloaded on your iOS. So just try as much as possible to be on every platform. It might be tough, it's not going to be easy, and you don't have to stick it out, but just try it first. Yeah.
So, Kehinde, you told Taiwo she needs to post twice a day. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure, especially if you're on multiple platforms, and apparently you should be on multiple platforms if you're not already. So, what is your rule of thumb when it comes to getting your business out on social media?
So for me, I'm going to tell you guys what works for me. Because I feel like every platform works different from everybody. And I have to kind of sort of disagree on making sure that you're visible on all platforms.
I like this. There's a lot of controversy.
Yeah, because I disagree because I think that you should definitely test the water and see what works best for you or what works best for your company or your business. That's the first thing. Facebook may not work best for me. Instagram may not work best for me. TikTok may work the best for my company. You definitely test the water. But for me, I like to be more organic when it comes to my content. Even when it comes to my business content as well, I think it's very, very important to be very, very organic and just show your viewers that everything is authentic. There's a reason why a lot of celebrities, skincare brand doesn't do well, or restaurant doesn't do well, because it seems so forced and it seems like they're kind of like taking advantage of the people outside because they have the platform. And that's why when it comes to brands, even brands that I work with, I turn a lot of brands down. If it's not related to me, I don't care how much you're paying me, I'm not doing it. I also we had an opportunity to do a TikTok video for a brand. I turned it down because TikTok is just not my thing. I've tried it. My team, my management has told me to get on TikTok. I've tried it and it just doesn't work for me. Maybe.
I just saw it.
No, like maybe in the future it can, but with the amount of like businesses that we're juggling, and also even being a full-time social media content creator, it's really, really, really difficult. And for me, if Instagram works best for cafeteria, I'm going to put so much time, so much energy into that and make that go viral. And we all know how it goes. I see videos on TikTok all the time of me, and I'm like, I didn't post this, and it does viral. It goes viral. It goes crazy, and I'm just like, I didn't post this, and it's going viral. So eventually, your content will go viral on those platforms. Eventually, they will go on TikTok. They will go on Facebook. If you spend more time producing quality content on that one platform, or even two platforms, or three platforms, do what works best for you and what works best for your brand. That's what I would do. If I'm going to spend 5 hours a day working on social media, the amount of time that I'm going to spend on that eventually will show. But if I'm going to spend 2 hours on Instagram, 1 hour on TikTok, I mean, it's just overwhelming. For me, it's just really overwhelming. So for me, I would just definitely stick to what works best for your brand and put more time, more energy into that, and then allow the video to circulate, go viral on all those other platforms. That's what I think.
I disagree with Kehinde.
She has no say so. She's not even on it. She has no say so.
Well, I say this because, I think it's important. I agree with that, Inshallah. I think it's important to get on as much platform as you can. Even though, like Kehinde said, I'm not as active on Instagram, but I think you can focus your attention on your main platform. And you can focus a little less, but give a little bit of attention to Facebook and TikTok. I say this because I recently spoke with my accountant in the US, and she said, yeah, I really want to know, how you guys' businesses work. Can you send me pictures? I said, no, I'll just send you the link to Instagram. She said, okay, send the link. I sent the link to her, and she's like, oh, it's saying that I have to create an account. I said, you don't have an Instagram account? In this day and age, you don't have an Instagram account. And mind you, this is just 2 weeks ago, So everyone isn't on Instagram. She's more on Facebook. She's a Facebook person, So I think it's important to get on as much platform as you can and just focus on your main one. You don't have to put 100% energy into the same energy into all of them, but I think you kind of titrate or kind of see, okay, well, this works, so let me put more in here, and then I'll have this team to focus on this one. I think that's very important, actually.
Well, there are obviously two schools of thought here, and I'm going to be the diplomat here and just say you're both right.
I'm going to ask a question so we can figure out how this, So, do you post a lot personally on Instagram or on any social media platform?
I'm a corporate body. I'm a corporate body, just for work. Social media is just for work.
What's your Twitter account? What's your TikTok account?
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I just put you on the spot. Ignore that question. Sorry, Lori.
Do you post often on your social media accounts?
She forces me to post on her page.
So she said be on all pages, but that's just you. That doesn't mean she
giving me
has
more
to-
work, more anxiety, like as if I already don't have enough that I'm posting. So half of my pictures on my page, I make her post.
So my question is, why I ask that question is, it feels like Kehinde posts a lot. I feel like I don't post a lot, but anyway, I post. And creating the content. So for us saying that, look, focus on something, it's because content is a lot of work. When you actually have to do that work and post stuff, and again, there are different brands. It's not just myself. It can be it's not just your personal brand. It's also cafeterias. This is that. And same here. So I'm just like, oh my God, shoot me now. And it's not very easy to say I'm going to hand this off to someone else to make that content. When you want to make it a certain way and you want to make it perfect and this and that, and then I'm like, oh. So I can't imagine having to do that. So now, obviously, I said I have TikTok. So what I do is I just post what was on Instagram, on TikTok. But I wasn't thinking about TikTok I want to make specifically for TikTok, because if I have to do that, then that's a different kind of content. So if you don't copy and paste, if I wanted to post that same content on YouTube Shorts, it's not going to be the same. We're going to re-edit it completely for YouTube Shorts for this. Anyway, so my point.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about YouTube, my goodness. But let me tell you something. Verity, my social media manager, I give her hell. I'm like, all right, so do content for TikTok, now do a different one for social media, put up an article on LinkedIn, write a message on Twitter, and then post a video on YouTube. Go. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy at all.
I think it's not easy, but as someone who has also been in the content world for more than 10 years now, I think it's very possible. I've dabbled in all forms of content, creation, production as well, and I do think it's possible. The good thing also is that a lot of social media platforms are sort of sticking to similar formats in terms of how you export your video, right? But then how you then translate it in terms of the messaging on each platform might be different. You want to think of different captions. You want to play with maybe viral songs and stuff on TikTok, whereas maybe you want to do more text heavy on Instagram and things like that. Yes, you do have to put a little bit more thought in that. But I think it's one thing. Kehinde, you mentioned that you're already going viral sort of on some platforms without even being on those platforms. And that's your audience signaling to you that they need you there. That's the gap that has been noticed.
They need
right?
you.
So, you sort of have to be able to provide an opportunity for yourself to be discovered across different platforms. That's the point of it, discoverability.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's easier said than done, you know. And
Especially when you're running like 4 businesses.
Yeah,
Or
no,
5. I still haven't figured that one out yet.
it's very, very. I mean, it's just struggle for me to even just post on Instagram right now. So it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, definitely we have to remember that social media for sure. It's great. It's great for business. It's great for fun. It's great for networking. But also you have to be careful with it as well, because it can also eat into mental illness as well. You know, like it's very mentally challenging. You know, so you also have to be very, very careful, because definitely it's easy to upload things. And my PA, you know, Mercy, she knows that I have so many content like that's literally in my phone that I haven't posted from so many trips ago. So for me, it's not just about posting just to get views or like. I have to actually be in it. Like I have to actually feel it. I have to be eager to actually post and relate with my followers, you know. But also you have to make sure you take care of yourself as well, because even before we actually started running all these businesses, it was still a struggle for me, because you want to make sure that the brand is happy with your content. You don't want to take a brand money and they're not happy or satisfied with you not putting your all into it. So it's definitely more than just trying to just post and put the content out there. You have to be mentally there to actually put those content out there.
And that actually is a very good point, because it's not just putting content out there, it's also the comments you get. And you know, you have to also be ready to engage with all those people that are going to be wanting you to engage with them. So every comment that you get, you're supposed to, if you want, you're supposed to respond. If you get 10,000 comments, good luck. I'm so glad I don't have that many followers. But it is very exhausting, and it is mentally exhausting, because you know, sometimes those comments aren't very nice. And how do you handle that? I mean, that's for another discussion. Last question. How do businesses in Nigeria leverage on tech to acquire and retain their customers? And I'm not talking just about social media. I'm talking about other platforms that are out there that allow your business to take that engagement to another level. So booking or reviews or those kind of things, like, you know, if you have the TripAdvisors, you have like table bookings and things like that. So there are other platforms in which, once you got them in through social media, how do you get them in? So do you use other booking platforms or other forms of technology to acquire your customers?
Yeah, okay, I'll say something, I'll let Ty finish it up, because she's the one who's like on it when it comes to like the reviews and stuff. Reviews are definitely important. When we first started the businesses, we wasn't so keen on it, but eventually we realized that definitely reviews for sure matter, because there are definitely more competition out there, and we know that there's a lot of repatriates and expatriates that comes into Lagos, and the first thing they type in is where to get the best pancakes. So on Google, if we have 4.5, 5 point whatever, that's where you go. You go to the highest reviews. So what we usually do is when we first started trying to put like our reviews out there, we initially was just asking customers for their feedback. Oh, how was it? I think it's great. You get good reviews, you get not so good reviews, and we ask them like, okay, well, do you mind giving us a review? And most times they would say, yeah, I'll give it to you, and next thing you know, they forget and they leave and they don't. And the people who really want to leave the reviews, they do it. So then we tried another thing. I'll let Ty talk about this with how you were like, with the staff and
So we
the
tried,
customers.
engaging our staff with our customers, and we told our staff, regardless of what the review is, when you're done with your customer, let them know you want them to write a review, and they need to mention, your name in their review, so we can know that, you put in the effort to make sure that we get this review, whether it's a bad review or a good review, and then we'll give them incentives, so we will give the staff incentives every time they get a review. But, reviews can backfire because I'm a review person, Kehinde will say, "Ty, I'm looking for attendance," and I'm like, hold on, let me look at these reviews. And Kehinde's like, how do you have time to look at these reviews? People look at reviews, they really matter, I don't do anything less than 4.5, depending on, what the establishment is. But most of the time, I try not to go less than 4.5. I know there's some wiggle room for like maybe 4, but you have some people that are like, no, 5 stars or 4.8 and above. And I do believe that, with reviews, for example, TripAdvisor, Google, people go on these platforms and, they want to see, okay, what are the reviews? What are they serving? What are people saying? And if you have so many negative reviews, how do you explain that, How do you retain your customers when they come into your establishment? We'll have customers come in and say, oh my goodness, I had the best experience. I'm going to give you guys 5 stars. Oh my gosh, I had such a good time. The food was so amazing. And then they go and give us 4 stars or 3 stars because the waiter forgot to give them, their water in time, or they forgot to give them cutlery. So the reviews can really backfire. I also think that people take more time and energy to leave a bad review than they do a good review. And it's so frustrating because you take so much time to build, this, your baby, and then somebody has a good experience and they just leave and they say, bye, okay, we'll see you again. That's great. And then you have someone who has a bad experience over maybe spilt milk. Sometimes it is something very, more severe than that, but they take the time to go on social media. Don't go to cafeteria. They forgot to give me my water, or I have to stick it, I waited too long, and these things. And we appreciate these feedback, but I've had friends who will come and say, Ty, Kehinde, we didn't really enjoy today because our food was really late, and I know we're not perfect, but for the most part we try our best to rectify it as much as we can, and I think that's the challenge that we face now. Is trying to make sure that we have that balance as far as reviews and that issue.
And in reviews, and I just want to say one thing. Yeah, the review thing is a thing. Like, I never knew it was such a thing. I remember when I was checking into this hotel, I forgot what country I was in, and they really made me cry. Like, they didn't have my room ready, I was traveling hours, I was so tired, and they were so rude. So the first person I called was Ty, because she usually calms me down. I was like, Ty, like, these guys, like, they didn't check me in. And it was just a mess because I was tired and they were so rude.
Write a review.
The first thing Ty said was, she didn't say, okay, Kehinde, she's like, give me 1 second. I'm gonna write a review. I'll call you right back. I was like, I'm crying right now. She's like, give me 1 second. I know what to do, I'll write a review. And she did write a review. And guess what? Like, the hotel called right away, and they were just so pleasant. They did their PR damage, of course. They asked me to take it down, and
I'm guilty of this as well. I'm guilty
So
of
you're
it.
one of those
She
people.
is.
So she walks into your business, make sure she gets the best experience ever.
The only time she gives you a bad review is if you mess with her sister. That's the only time.
So if Kehinde walks into your restaurant, forget about Ty, if Kehinde walks into your restaurant, make sure you give her the best experience ever. Thank you so much, ladies. We just have like a few minutes for questions, if anybody has questions. Questions? Let's see. We have 5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Jamar Montgomery. I'm a blockchain consultant. So my question is how are you utilizing any of the available AI tools to help with content creation? Because I know for me in content creation, the difficulty has been like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and like you said earlier, it's like each channel has different format, and being able to chop and cut your content up so that it's not overwhelming can be kind of challenging. So are you utilizing any of those AI tools, and if so, can you share any of them?
Let me take that. So this so interesting. So I've been using ChatGPT, if anybody knows about that, recently. And I think Google just did a rival one. And honestly, it takes off a lot of headache sometimes to type in what is the best caption for this on this platform with less than 70 characters, and the thing will come out with a great caption for you. And I hate captions. That's usually why, like, my reels, I have so many drafts saved, but I don't have captions, so they don't get posted. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But so, and the thing is, it's pretty smart. And there was another time, so a friend of mine, so he's more YouTube, and he typed in a script for this, and the thing would spit out a script and like, oh, camera pans here, and then this, and be somber, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, what the hell? That is a full script, like that's direction and everything. So, and it's such an interesting time because so many things are rolling out, and you know, there are people who are afraid that this will take work away from, you know, different kinds of creators, whether in the digital space or even a scriptwriter, that's maybe their job, you know. So, but for a content creator, you want to be on top of knowing what is new, what is out there. There's split for like hashtags. In fact, ChatGPT, I asked, what is a good hashtag for this, and it gives me hashtags. And then you try it and you see, obviously it's a computer, so if you put trash in, it'll give you trash, but the more you know what you're looking for, and the more you research, and that's the thing, it's always research. YouTube is great. There's a guy who did a very good video about so many things you can do with the platform to use it for everything. So he wasn't talking about how you could go back to your old content and recaption it, repost it, whatever, use the thing, and it would come out with great captions, great titles for your videos to do better, blah, blah, blah. So there's so much interesting stuff that is happening with AI and with all these new tech. And I think any content creator should really be on top of that and at least cutting their time into half and not stressing themselves with things like content and hashtag.
I wanted to add that, like, the reason why we're also able to benefit from some of these amazing, innovative things that are coming out in tech is also because when you are trying to put your content out there, you sort of have to think of the metadata. The video that you want to upload, have you actually gone to put in an alternative text in it? Have you actually renamed the video such that anybody that is searching for it is also able to discover it, such that if AI is helping anybody, recommending anything, they are also still able to recommend your product and your content. So you also want to think of that your photos don't just snap it from your phone and then put it on Instagram. You want to actually go into edit the names at the back and all of those kinds of things to also ensure that people are also able to find your content when they are relying on tech to recommend for them. And you're also ahead of the curve. A lot of people are not already thinking of introducing like voice speech for like websites. A lot of people are not thinking of acceptance and things like that are important when you're thinking of tech and the next step that we're going to in terms of discoverability.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions? Just one more question.
Good afternoon. My name is Victor Anyanwu. I'm a content creator, social media strategist. I have one question for two of you. Why do you want to do it yourselves? Social media thing. It's overwhelming, yeah?
I think he's looking for a job.
Because this is it. If you have to be on all those platforms, I think it will really help you, right? As you said, I totally agree. I'm on your side. I agree. Totally agree. But you can get help. You have a PA.
Yeah,
right?
we actually do have a social media team of 3? And again, like I said, it's not always just about being on every single platform for me. I think that the best thing to do is be organic. And if the platform works for us, it works for us. Test the waters, let's see. We test the water with Twitter, and it just doesn't work for us. So definitely we do have people working with us, and they do the posting and everything like that. TikTok is another thing, but I think it's one of those things, for me, for my personal brand, it just doesn't work. For the other brands, it may work, but for me, I'm just not a fan of doing every single platform. Even if it is going to boost anything. Like, I just feel like people want to see organic things, especially when it comes to food. That's how I feel.
People, stop trying to force her to get on every platform. She doesn't want it.
What about
But yes, we are hiring. We're looking for content creators. We are hiring. We have some projects coming up, and I just want to plug that in.
She doesn't want to go personally, yeah?
No, she just doesn't want, it's not that she doesn't want to do it herself, she just doesn't want to be.
And the good thing is that tech evolves, platforms evolve. Like, it might not be the best fit for your brand at the moment. In the future, you can explore it again. So it doesn't, yes, that still works.
Yeah, what I was asking was, she doesn't want to do it. Is it for herself personally or for all the brands? Is it?
For myself personally,
Yeah, so the brands can go, yeah?
Sorry?
The brands can
Yeah, other
go.
brands.
So, huh?
Like Mike's and
all the other
Oh,
brands.
yeah,
I guess they could, yeah, it's just a matter of time and hiring a bigger team.
They can. Yeah, so we agree.
He's looking for a job.
If you would like to join the team, no problem.
Thank you so much, ladies. I really, really appreciate all of you here too. I did promise a giveaway. That box wants to go home with someone. Did you guys download the app? Who downloaded the app? Okay, so I have like 10